The stars looked different today. Captain Deho stood on the bridge of the New Sol, watching the view screen with worry in his eyes. His ship carried 5,000 humans to a new world. They had traveled for 3 years through space, looking for a place to call home. "Captain," said his second officer, Lieutenant Minho, "we have ships coming toward us, big ones." Deho felt his stomach drop. They were still 2 weeks away from their new planet. No one should be out here in empty space. He looked at the screen as huge dark ships appeared. They were bigger than anything humans had ever built. "How many?" Deho asked. 12 ships, sir. They're surrounding us." The bridge became quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. For the past 5 years, humans had heard stories from other space travelers. Stories about the Malari Empire. Stories about how they conquered worlds with something terrible. A voice came through the radio. It was cold and did not sound human. "Human. Vessel. This is Commander Veltar of the Malari Empire. You will surrender now. Lower your shields and prepare to be boarded." Deho picked up the radio. His hand shook a little. "This is Captain Deho. We are peaceful travelers. We just want to reach our new home. There's no home for you now. You have 2 choices. Surrender or face the Vorthok." The word Vorthok made everyone on the bridge go silent. They had all heard that name before. It was the name that made grown soldiers cry. It was the name that ended wars before they started. "Sir," whispered Communications Officer Sujin. "Should I call Admiral Bongsu?" Deho nodded. Admiral Bongsu was in charge of their small fleet. The New Sol was just one of 6 ships carrying humans to their new world. Maybe the Admiral would know what to do. Admiral Bongsu appeared on the main screen. He was an old man with gray hair and tired eyes. "Captain, I heard the transmission. How much time do we have?" "It didn't say, sir, but their ships are getting closer." Admiral looked sad. "Captain, I need to tell you something. 3 months ago, we got a message from the Kepler colony. The Malari attacked them too. What happened? They lasted 4 hours. 5,000 people all gone." Deho felt sick. "The Vorthok." "Yes, Captain. I've seen the reports. These creatures, they're not normal. They're 12 feet tall. They have claws that can cut through steel. Their skin is so thick that our weapons can't hurt them, and they're smart. Very smart." On the bridge, people started to look scared. Some were crying. Lieutenant Minho put his hand on his weapon, but everyone knew it would not help. "Sir," said Minho, "what are these Vorthoks exactly?" Admiral Bongsu looked at him through the screen. "They're killers, son. The Malari made them in labs. They took some alien animal and made it worse. Much worse. They made it bigger, stronger, and meaner. Then they taught it to hunt humans. How many do they have? Don't know, but they don't need many. 1 Vorthok can clear a whole ship in an hour." The radio crackled again. "Human captain, your time is up. You will surrender now, or we will release the Vorthok." Deho looked around his bridge. These people trusted him. Many had families on the ship. Children who were sleeping in their beds, dreaming of their new home. Admiral Deho said quietly, "What do we do?" "We fight," the Admiral said. "We're humans. We don't give up." But everyone knew the truth. Humans had never won against the Vorthok. No one had. The Gareth Federation had tried with their best soldiers. The Vorthok killed them all. Zephyr Alliance had used their strongest weapons. Vorthok walked through the fire like it was nothing, sir, said Sujin. "I'm getting reports from the other ships. They're all asking the same thing. What do we do?" Deho closed his eyes. He thought about his wife, Hiram, who was down in the medical bay. He thought about all the families who came with them. The children who called him Captain Uncle when they saw him in the halls. "Tell all ships to prepare for battle," he said. "If we're going to die, we die fighting." The Admiral nodded. "All ships, this is Admiral Bongsu. Battle stations. Protect the children. Protect the families. We are humans. We do not surrender." Through the big windows, they could see the Malari ships getting closer. They were dark and ugly, like giant metal insects. Between them, small pods began to appear. The pods were moving toward the human ships. "Those are the Vorthok pods," whispered Minho. "Each one has a creature inside." "How many pods?" No one looked. At her screens, 27 pods, sir, all heading for our ships. Everyone on the bridge watched as the pods got closer. They moved fast, like bullets through space. Each pod was big enough to hold something terrible. Time to impact 3 minutes, said Sujin.
Daeho
Picked up the ship's radio. This would reach everyone on the New Sol. This is your captain. We are about to be attacked. Find your families. Hold them close. Remember, we are humans. We take care of each other. He turned to his crew. Everyone ready? They all nodded. They were scared, but they were ready to fight. Even if they could not win, they would try. The first pod hit the ship with a loud crash. The lights went out for a moment. When they came back on, alarms were ringing everywhere. Hull breach on deck 7, said Minho. Something's inside. More pods hit the ship. Each crash meant another monster was now hunting in their halls. Lights kept flashing red. The alarms kept ringing. Captain, said Sujin, I'm getting reports from other ships. The creatures are inside all of them. Daeho listened to the radio. He could hear screaming. He could hear people running. He could hear the sounds that nightmares were made of. Sir, said a voice on the radio, this is Security Chief Wu Jin, the creature on deck 7, ... It's huge. Our weapons aren't working. It's coming toward the family quarters. Daeho felt his heart stop. The family quarters. That's where the children slept. The hunt had begun. 8-year-old Haijin woke up to loud noises. The ship was shaking. Red lights were flashing in her room. She sat up in her small bed and looked around. Her mom and dad were not there. Mom, she called out. Dad? No one answered. The hallway. Outside her room was full of running feet and shouting voices. She could hear her mom calling her name from far away. But the voice was getting smaller. Haijin got out of bed and put on her pink slippers. She opened her door and looked out. People were running everywhere. They looked scared. Some were crying. There's a monster on deck 7, someone shouted. It killed Security Chief Wu Jin, said another voice. Haijin felt scared too. She wanted to find her parents, but there were too many people running. She might get lost in the crowd. She remembered what her mom always told her. If you get lost, go to the garden. Mom will find you there. The garden was her mom's special place. Her mom grew earth plants there. It was quiet and safe. Keen decided to go there and wait. She walked through the empty halls. Most people had run to the front of the ship. The garden was in the back, so no one was there. Her small feet made soft sounds on the metal floor. The garden door was big and heavy. Haijin had to push hard to open it. Inside, it was dark, except for some small lights. The plants looked like sleeping friends. She could smell flowers and dirt. It reminded her of home. She found her favorite spot behind the big tomato plants. This was where she always hid when she played games with her mom. She sat down on the soft ground and hugged her knees. Mom will find me, she whispered to herself. Outside the garden, she could hear more shouting. The sounds were getting closer. Then she heard something else, something that made her stomach feel cold. Thud, thud, heavy footsteps. It's much heavier than human feet. Crash. Something big hit the garden door. The metal bent inward. Haijin could see claws poking through the door. Big claws that sparkled with something wet. Crash. Crash, the door broke apart. Pieces of metal fell to the floor with loud clangs. Through the broken door came something from a nightmare. It was 12 feet tall. Its skin was dark gray and looked like rock. Its arms were longer than a grown man. At the end of each arm were claws as long as kitchen knives. Its mouth was full of sharp teeth. Green liquid dripped from its mouth and made the floor smoke. This was a Vorthok. The creature's yellow eyes looked around the garden. They glowed like flashlights in the dark. It sniffed the air. It was hunting. Haijin knew she should run. She knew she should scream, but she could not move. She was too scared. She just sat there behind the tomato plants, trying to be very small. Vorthok walked into the garden. Each step made the floor shake. It knocked over plant pots as it moved. Its claws cut through the air. Making soft whooshing sounds, it smelled her. The creature turned its big head toward the tomato plants. Its yellow eyes found her. For a moment, they just looked at each other. The monster and the little girl. Haijin was not crying. She was not shaking, just looked back at the creature with her big dark eyes. She was scared, but she was also curious. She had never seen anything like this before. The Vorthok moved closer. It pushed the tomato plants aside with one massive claw. Now nothing was between them. The creature was so big that it blocked out most of the light. It raised its right claw. The green liquid dripped down and made little holes in the floor. This was how it killed. This was how it had killed thousands of people on other worlds. But then something strange happened. The Vorthok stopped. Its claw was raised high above the little girl, ready to strike. But it did not move, just stood there, frozen. Hyjin tilted her head to one side. "Are you okay?" she asked in her small voice. The creature made a sound. It was not a roar or a growl. It was softer, like it was confused. "You're really big," said Hyjin. "Are you lost too?" The Vorthok's claw began to shake. Its yellow eyes looked different now. They did not look angry anymore. They looked ... sad. "I'm waiting for my mom," Hyjin said. "She grows these plants. Do you like plants?" The creature slowly lowered its claw. It looked at the tomato plants. Then it looked back at the little girl. Something was happening inside the Vorthok's mind. Something that had never happened before. The programming that told it to kill was fighting with something else. Something older and deeper. For the first time in its life, the Vorthok felt something it had never felt before. It felt the need to protect instead of destroy. The little girl was not running. She was just sitting there, talking to it like it was a friend, like it was not a monster. "My name is Hyjin," she said. "What's your name?" The Vorthok could not speak human words, but it made a soft sound in its throat, almost like a purr. Then it did something that no Vorthok had ever done before, something that would change everything. The massive creature lowered its head. It bent its neck and bowed before the human child. Hyjin smiled. "Thank you," she said. "That's very polite." The Vorthok stayed in its bow. Inside its mind, old memories were waking up. Memories of its species before the Malari changed them. Memories of protecting young ones. Memories of being guardians instead of killers. The creature lifted its head and looked at Hyjin again. This time its eyes were gentle. Reached out with one massive claw and very carefully touched her small hand. The claw was warm. It did not hurt her. "You're not scary," Hyjin said. "You're just big, like my Uncle Jinwoo. He's big too, but he's nice." The Vorthok made its purring sound again. It sat down on the garden floor, making itself smaller. It was still huge, but now it was at eye level with the little girl. Somewhere in the ship, alarms were still ringing. Other Vorthok were still hunting. But in the small garden, something impossible was happening. A monster was learning how to be gentle, and a little girl was teaching it. Something was wrong with the Vorthok network. Commander Veltar stared at his control screens on the Malari ship. The readings did not make sense. "What is happening?" he asked his officer. "Sir Vorthok, Unit 7 has stopped moving. It's just sitting in one place. Is it dead?" "No, sir. It's alive. But it's not hunting anymore." Veltar felt confused. In 50 years of using Vorthok, this had never happened. "Send a command. Make it hunt." The officer pressed buttons on his control panel. "Sir, I'm sending the kill command now." They waited. Nothing happened. The Vorthok on the screen still sat in the same place. "Unit 7 is not responding to commands," said the officer. "Wait, ... Now Unit 12 has stopped too." "What do you mean stopped? It was chasing humans down a hallway. Now it's just standing there." Veltar walked to the big screen. He could see inside the human ships through the Vorthok eyes. Each creature had a camera that sent pictures back to the Malari ship. What he saw made no sense. Unit 12 was standing in a hallway, looking down at something. The camera showed a small human child. The child was maybe 5 years old. She had pigtails and was wearing a yellow dress. The Vorthok was not attacking. It was just looking at the child. The child looked back at it. "Hello," said the little girl. "You're very big." The Vorthok made a soft sound. Then it did something impossible. It bowed its head to the child. "Sir, said the officer. Unit 12 is also not responding to commands. Veltar felt angry. What is wrong with these creatures, sir? I'm getting reports from other units. Unit 3 has stopped hunting. Unit 15 is sitting on the floor. Unit 21 is, sir. Unit 21 is purring. Vorthok, don't purr. Yes, sir, but it's making soft sounds, and it's near a human child. Veltar looked at more screens. Each screen showed a different Vorthok, and each Vorthok was acting strange. Some were sitting, some were bowing, some were just staring at human children. Show me Unit 7, he said. The screen changed. It showed the inside of what looked like a garden Unit 7 was sitting on, the floor next to a small human girl. The girl was talking to the creature like it was a pet. My mom will be here soon, the girl was saying. She'll be happy to meet you. Do you want to see her flowers? The Vorthok made a gentle sound. It was definitely purring. This is impossible, said Veltar. Get me Admiral Zorkan. Admiral Zorkan was the leader of the Malari fleet. He was old and had used Vorthok to conquer many worlds. When he appeared on the screen, he looked angry. Why are my Vorthok not killing humans? He demanded. Sir, we don't know. They stop working when they see human children. Children. Do you mean children? Young humans, sir? Small ones? What? When the Vorthok see them, they stop attacking. Some even bow to them. Admiral Zorkan's face changed. Show me. Veltar showed him the screens. The Admiral watched as after Vorthok stopped hunting when they found human children. It was happening all over the human ships. This is not possible, said the Admiral. Vorthok kill everything. They have no feelings, no mercy. Yes, sir, but look at this. The screen showed Unit 9. It had found a human family hiding in a closet. The family had 2 children, a boy about 6 years old and a girl about 4 years old. The Vorthok could have killed the whole family in seconds. Instead, it looked at the children. The children looked back at it. Don't hurt my mommy, said the little boy. The Vorthok tilted its head. Then it did something that made everyone watching feel shocked. It stepped away from the family. It moved to stand between them and the door. It was protecting them. Sir, said an officer, Unit 9 is now guarding the human family. It won't let other Malari soldiers near them. Admiral Zorkan felt fear for the first time in years. How many units are affected? 23 out of 27, sir. It's only 4 are still hunting. And those 4 are in parts of the ships with no children. On the human ships, people were starting to notice too. Lieutenant Nari was running through the halls looking for her daughter Soyoung. She heard screaming from the dining hall and ran toward it. Inside the dining hall, she found something amazing. Huge Vorthok was sitting in the middle of the room. Round it were 12 human children. The children were sitting in a circle, looking at the creature, Mommy, called Soyoung. Look at our new friend. Nari wanted to grab her daughter and run, but the Vorthok was not acting like a monster. It was acting like a gentle giant. It's okay, Mom, said a boy named Dongmin. It doesn't want to hurt us. It likes us. The Vorthok saw Nari and made a soft sound. It was trying to tell her that the children were safe. Dr. Yunwo was watching everything from the ship's medical bay. He had cameras all over the ship. It could see what was happening. This is incredible, he said to his assistant. The Vorthok are not attacking children. They're protecting them. How is that possible? Asked the assistant. I don't know, but look at this. He showed her a screen. This Vorthok found a group of adults hiding with their children. It could have killed them all. Instead, it's standing guard. It's protecting the whole family. Back on the Malari ship, Admiral Zorkan was getting more bad news. Sir, the Vorthok have started fighting each other, reported an officer. What? Units 4 and 18 met in a hallway. Unit 4 was chasing adult humans. Unit 18 was protecting a human child. They fought. Unit 18 won. A Vorthok fought another Vorthok to protect humans. Yes, sir. And sir, we're getting reports from other conquered worlds. The same thing is happening there. Vorthok are refusing to fight when human children are present. Admiral Zorkan felt his empire starting to fall apart. For 50 years, the Vorthok had been perfect weapons. They killed without question. They felt no mercy. They had no weakness. But now, they had found their weakness, and it was something the Malari had never expected. Human children. The creatures that were designed to be killers were remembering how to be protectors. And it was spreading through the entire Vorthok network like a virus. "Sir," said Veltar. "What are your orders?" Admiral Zorkan looked at the screens. He saw his perfect weapons sitting peacefully with human children. He saw them protecting families, saw them refusing to kill. "Retreat," he said quietly. "Sir," I said, "retreat. Get all remaining units back to the ships." Now, but it was too late. The Vorthok had chosen their side. For the first time in 50 years, they were not on the side of the Malari Empire. Captain Deho could not believe what he was seeing. Through the halls of his ship, Vorthok were walking beside human children like giant pets. The creatures that had come to kill them were now protecting them. "Captain," said Lieutenant Minho, "we're getting reports from all decks. The Vorthok are not attacking anymore there. They're helping us." "Helping us how?" "Sir, 3 Malari soldiers tried to board Deck 5. The Vorthok there fought them off, protected the families hiding in the schoolroom." Deho shook his head. "This is impossible." "These creatures were built to kill?" "Yes, sir, but not anymore." On Deck 7, 7-year-old Taman was having the most amazing day of his life. He had always loved learning about aliens and space creatures. Now he had his very own alien friend. The Vorthok had been following him for an hour. Taman called him Guardian because that's what he was doing, guarding him. "Guardian, can you pick me up?" asked Tay-Min. The huge creature made a soft rumbling sound. It carefully lifted the boy with its massive claws. Taman laughed with joy. "You're so strong. Can you see far when you're this tall?" Guardian carried Taman to a window. Outside, they could see the Malari ships. Some were moving away, but others were coming closer. "Are those the bad guys?" asked Tay-Min. Guardian growled. It was a different sound than before. This was angry. But not angry at the boy. Angry at the Malari. "Don't worry," said Timon. "We'll stop them together." The boy didn't know it, but his words were changing everything. Guardian was not just a weapon anymore. It was a friend, a protector, a guardian. And Guardian was not the only one changing. All over the human ships, the same thing was happening. Vorthok were bonding with human children. They were remembering what they used to be before the Malari changed them. Dr. Yunwa was studying everything from his lab. He had never seen anything like this. "The Vorthok are evolving," he told his team. "Not their bodies, but their minds. They're breaking free from their programming." "How?" asked Dr. Thejin. "The children. Human children don't see monsters when they look at the Vorthok. They see friends. Right. And somehow, the Vorthok can feel that. But why children? Why not adults?" Dr. Yunhua looked at his data. Children don't have fear the same way adults do. They're curious. They're trusting. They see the good in everything. The Vorthok were once a peaceful species. Children are helping them remember that. Meanwhile, Admiral Bongsu was planning something desperate. He called all the ship captains together on the radio. "Listen carefully," he said. "The Malari are regrouping. They're going to attack again. This time they're not using Vorthok. They're coming with their own soldiers." "What do we do?" asked Captain Deho. "We fight back. And we use our new allies, the Vorthok." "Yes, but only if the children are safe. The Vorthok will only fight to protect the children. So we need to make sure the children can see them." It was a crazy plan, but it was the only plan they had. Captain Donghan was in charge of the ship New Busan. He had 12 Vorthok on his ship now. All of them were protecting children. "Attention all families," he announced. "We need your help. The Maori are coming back. Our Vorthok friends will protect us, but they need to see your children. Please bring your children to the main halls." Parents were scared, but they had seen what the Vorthok could do. They had seen them fight off Malari soldiers. They had seen them be gentle with their children. Slowly, families began to gather in the main halls. Children sat with their Vorthok friends. Parents stood nearby, still nervous but hopeful. Young Hijin was still in the garden with her Vorthok. Her parents had finally found her there. Her mother, Hiram, was crying. "I was so scared," said her mother. "I thought we lost you." "It's okay, Mom," said Hijin. "My friend protected me." The Vorthok bowed its head to Hijin's parents. It was trying to say sorry for scaring them. "Thank you," said Hijin's father. "Ginsu, thank you for keeping her safe." The Vorthok made its purring sound. It understood. Then the alarms started ringing again. The Malari were attacking. "All children to the main halls," announced Captain Deho. "Stay with your Vorthok friends. They will protect you." The Malari soldiers came in small ships. They wore heavy armor and carried powerful weapons. They thought it would be easy to kill the humans, now that the Vorthok were not working properly. They were wrong. The first group of Malari soldiers broke into the New Sol on Deck 3. They expected to find scared humans hiding in dark corners. Instead, they found something terrifying. A Vorthok stood in the middle of the hallway. Behind it were 20 human children. The children were not scared. They were smiling. "Get them!" Guardian shouted. A little girl named Bo Young. The Vorthok roared. But this was not the roar of a programmed killer. This was the roar of a protector defending its young. The creature fought with a fury the Malari had never seen before. It was not killing because it was told to. It was killing because it chose to. Because it had something to protect, the Malari soldiers ran all over the human ships. The same thing was happening. Vorthok were fighting harder than ever before. But now they were fighting for something they believed in. On the New Busan, Captain Dong Hyen watched as his Vorthok allies destroyed a team of Malari boarders. The creatures were unstoppable. "Sir," said his officer, "the Malari are retreating from Deck 4. "Good. How are the children?" "Safe, sir. And they're cheering for their Vorthok friends." It was true. The children were clapping and laughing as their giant protectors won battle after battle. Tae-Min was riding on Guardian's shoulders as they walked through the halls. "You're the best, Guardian. You're so strong." Guardian purred with pride. It had never felt proud before. It had never felt anything before. But now it felt love. Love for the small human who trusted it completely. The Malari were learning something terrible. Their perfect weapons were now turned against them. And weapons that fought for love were much stronger than weapons that fought because they were programmed to. Admiral Zorkan watched his soldiers lose battle after battle. "How is this possible?" he asked. "Sir, the Vorthok are fighting differently. They're not following attack patterns. They're fighting like they care about winning. They're supposed to be emotionless killers." "Not anymore, sir. They have something to protect now. It makes them dangerous." Admiral Zorkan realized his empire was falling apart. For 50 years, the Vorthok had been his greatest weapon. Now they were his greatest enemy, and it was all because of human children. News traveled fast through the galaxy. The message was simple but shocking. The Malari Empire had been defeated by their own weapons. Admiral Zorkan sat in his command chair, looking at reports from across his empire. The same thing was happening. Everywhere. On every world where humans lived, the Vorthok were turning against their masters. "Sir," said Commander Veltar, "we've lost contact with the Kepler system. Our Vorthok there have stopped responding." "What about the Titan colony?" "Same thing, sir. The moment our Vorthok see human children, they switch sides." Admiral Zorkan felt old and tired. His perfect empire was crumbling because of something he never thought about: innocence on the human ships. Everything was changing. Little Hyjin had become famous without knowing it. She was the first human child to make a Vorthok bow. Now, she was helping other children meet their new friends. "Don't be scared," she told a shy boy named J1. "They look big and scary, but they're really nice." The Vorthok near them made soft purring sounds. They were happy to see the children playing together. Dr. Yunwoo was working day and night to understand what was happening. He discovered something amazing: the Vorthok. "We're not always killers," he told Captain Deho. "Before the Malari changed them, they were guardians on their home planet. They protected the young of all species." "How do you know this?" "I've been studying their brain patterns. When they see human children, old memories wake up. Memories from before they were turned into weapons. Captain Deho looked through the window at the main hall. Children were playing with Vorthok like they were gentle giants. So the children are helping them remember who they really are. Exactly. Human. Children don't see monsters. They see friends. And somehow, that changes everything. Taman was having the best day ever. Guardian had become his best friend. The boy had taught the creatures simple games. They played hide-and-seek in the halls. Guardian was not very good at hiding because he was so big, but he tried his best. Guardian. "Let's go see the stars," said Tay-Min. Guardian picked up the boy and carried him to the observation deck. Through the big windows, they could see space. The Malari ships were leaving. Some were already gone. "Look, Guardian, they're running away." Guardian made a happy rumbling sound. He was glad the bad people were leaving. "Guardian, do you want to come live with us on our new planet?" asked Tay-Min. The creature looked down at the small boy. In its yellow eyes, Taman could see something like tears. Guardian nodded his massive head. "Yay, we can be friends forever." Dr. Ji Young, the fleet's brain expert, made an important discovery. She found out why human children affected the Vorthok so much. Human children produce a special brainwave, she explained to the other doctors. It's the same wave that all young creatures make when they trust someone completely. "And the Vorthok can sense this?" asked Dr. Yunwoo. "Yes, their original programming was to protect anything that made this wave. The Malari tried to erase this programming, but they couldn't delete it completely. It was too deep, too natural. Oh! When the Vorthok see human children, they remember their true purpose: to protect, not destroy." All across the galaxy, the same thing was happening. On every Malari world, Vorthok were refusing to fight. They were protecting human families instead of hunting them. The Gareth Federation, who had been defeated by the Malari 2 years ago, sent a message: "The Vorthok on our world have freed us. They're fighting the Malari soldiers now." The Zephyr Alliance reported the same thing. "Our Vorthok protectors have saved our children. Malari are retreating." Planet after planet was being liberated. By the same creatures that had conquered them, Admiral Bong Su called a meeting of all the human ship captains. "We need to talk about what happens next," he said. "What do you mean?" asked Captain Deho. "The Vorthok want to stay with us. They want to come to our new planet. Are we ready for that?" The captains looked at each other. It was a big decision. The Vorthok were powerful creatures. Having them as friends would be wonderful, but it would also change everything.
"I think
"We should ask the children," said Captain Dong Hayan. "They're the ones who made friends with them first." They did ask the children. The answer was the same from every child. "Yes, our friends can come with us." Hai-Jin spoke for all the children when she said, "They're not monsters anymore. They're family." The Malari Empire tried one last attack. Admiral Zorkan brought his biggest ships and his best soldiers. But he made a mistake. He attacked a human school ship first. The ship had 300 children on board, 20 Vorthok. The battle was over in 10 minutes. The Vorthok fought like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. They were not just protecting children now. They were protecting their new family. After the battle, Admiral Zorkan gave up. "Send a message to all Malari forces," he said. "Full retreat. We cannot fight an enemy that has turned our own weapons into their protectors." The war was over. The Malari Empire, which had ruled 50 star systems, was finished. All because human children had shown monsters how to love. Years later, Dr. Jiang wrote a book about what happened. She called it The Day the Children Saved the Galaxy. In the book, she wrote, "The Malari thought they had created the perfect weapon, but they forgot something important. You cannot completely erase the good in any living thing. Love will always find a way to survive." The human fleet reached their new planet 6 months later. They called it New Earth. The Vorthok came with them. On New Earth, the creatures became guardians again. They protected schools and nurseries. They helped build homes and farms. Hai-Jin grew up to become a teacher. She taught children about friendship and understanding. Her first Vorthok friend stayed with her family until he was very old. Tay-Min became a scientist like Dr. Yunwoo. He studied how different species could become friends. Guardian helped him with his research until the end of his days. the galaxy. Learned an important lesson. Humanity's greatest strength was not their weapons or their technology. It was their ability to see good in others, even in their enemies. Children all across the galaxy grew up knowing that monsters could become friends, that enemies could become family, that love was stronger than any weapon. And in schools on 100 different worlds, Vorthok stood guard, not as weapons of war, but as protectors of innocence. They had found their true purpose at last. The apex predators had become something better than weapons. They had become guardians of hope. The children had shown them the way home.